What's some of the first things that you think about whenever you think about self-esteem? Are you critical of yourself? Are you just, do you get in your head and you really overthink situations? Do you think about how, you're maybe not good enough compared to someone else? If you had to define self-esteem, how would you define it? Like, what is self-esteem? I want to talk today about not only like what is self-esteem, but also, what are some ways that you can really, start to work on viewing yourself in a better lens. So let's look at self-esteem. It's really having that, confidence and respect in oneself, like valuing yourself. It's your perception and attitude towards your self-worth, capabilities, what your value is, who you are at the core. Self-esteem is a lot of things, but honestly, it's one of those things that, really is important to work on and get to a better spot if you are in a very negative space. So looking at self-esteem some more, it refers to our overall sense of self-worth, right? So overall, we, sort of judge ourselves on a daily basis about if we're good, if we're not good, how do we compare to other people, and also, if we accept ourselves or not. This can be a really important thing to look at because if your sense of self-worth, if you just don't think that you're worthy of something, if you just think that you really don't have it compared to, so and so, then that's a huge problem. But look at this. High self-esteem is crucial for personal growth and well-being. It enables us to pursue goals, handle challenges, and maintain healthy relationships. Self-esteem is crucial. It is at the core of who we are. If we don't view ourselves in a more healthy way, how are we going to actually be able to be around others and be, really supportive of others? If you don't love yourself, how can you truly love someone else? I've heard that quite often. But let's look at the last thing here. Low self-esteem can lead to negative consequences. It can contribute to anxiety, depression, lack of confidence in pursuing opportunities. If you don't believe in yourself, if you just really struggle to believe that you're capable, how are you going to get the opportunities for advancement? If you don't believe in your capabilities at your job, how are you going to get to that next level? If you don't really value yourself, I'm not talking love. Loving yourself, it goes together, but it's not completely the same. That just having a sense of self-worth, that I have value. So one of the biggest things with self-esteem and how you start to actually work on this is you have to really practice some self-compassion. How you view yourself is one of the most important things. So embracing some self-kindness. Treat yourself with the same compassion you would show someone else. How would you treat this other person if they've wronged you and you've been able to forgive them easily? If you don't really forgive yourself easily, then maybe that's somewhere that you really need to start. Like it's just self-forgiveness, but also, just really getting to the place where you can be gentle with yourself. I have it right here. Be gentle with yourself during those moments where you're really struggling. That can be so challenging. Moving on to the next one, silencing your inner critic. The negative self-talk can just really eat you alive. Your inner critic, you're more likely to view yourself in such a negative way than pretty much anyone else. So, I have over here that negative self-talk can be detrimental to self-esteem. When you catch yourself engaging in self-criticism, just really challenge it and work on replacing those thoughts, which is easier said than done. I get it. But you have to work on really dealing with that inner self-critic. And then moving on to the last one, work on affirming, have some affirmations, and it's really about empowering yourself. If you can do it daily, if you can affirm yourself daily, it really makes a huge difference. Writing them in a journal, just giving some, maybe doing some sticky notes, that kind of thing, it really goes a long way. And the clients that I've worked with, let's say they've done the sticky note exercise where they take a sticky note, write an affirmation on it, stick it on their bathroom mirror or a common place, and they really do connect with it, because when you see something, you're more likely to really connect with it and start to believe it. Even if you don't believe it in the moment, you still write it. That's sort of the first steps here. So setting achievable goals really is one of the most important things. And so, I have on here that, SMART goals are important. What are SMART goals? The S stands for, the goal is specific. The means measurable. A is achievable and you can actually get there. R is relevant to the situation. And then T is time bound. You don't want to, sort of have a goal that is just, set 2 months ahead of time when realistically you need to be working on it in that week. So giving an example of this, having something that's very specific. So instead of saying, I'm just going to do better, I'm going to do better with talking about myself to other people. That's pretty specific. Is it measurable? Yeah. I mean, if you keep track of it, if you're journaling about it, if you can do an analysis at the end of the day, about how you're talking about yourself, that's really important. Is it achievable? Yeah, of course it is. You can really work on that self-talk and you can get to a better place, even if you don't believe it. Something that's not achievable is I'm just going to get there tomorrow, and I don't have to do all the work. No, and that might not be the most relevant. Which brings me to the next point. It's relevant, so you're not going to say that, you're going to work on, your viewpoint and judgment of other people if really what you're trying to work on is your own self-talk. I'm just trying to give an example there. And then also time bound, like I said earlier, you want some time specific goals here. So on this slide as well, I have in the middle, simple daily goals that can help build your self-confidence. You really want to simplify it as much as possible. Small steps are really the most important. And I know that this seems pretty simple, right? I'm saying simplicity really matters here. But here's the thing is you really have to simplify it. If you look at the big, huge mountain in front of you, you're probably going to really struggle to get to a better place. Whereas if you focus on getting to just the 1, 2, and 3 steps right in front of you, it really makes a huge difference. So lastly here, I have visualize goal achievement, right? So being able to sort of dream a little bit, if you will. But I put an example, so if you're really struggling with public speaking and, you're just, in your head about it, right? So if that's your situation, then if you practice speaking with confidence just for, a few minutes a day, and then the next day you move to 20 minutes, and then the next day you move to, let's say 30 minutes. By the end of it, you're really going to do great with being able to practice and being a better fluent speaker. Just like me in front of the camera, I love being in front of the camera sometimes, but it really takes a lot of practice to articulate what I want to communicate. And, if you ever do like blooper reels or see blooper reels, I can definitely have my fair share of those, but it really is important to kind of practice some of these things. Now, one of the things to consider is building a support system, having supportive relationships. This could be close friends, having some mentors in your life, family, community groups, really cultivating some positive workplace environments. This can be really, really important. And I know we're talking about self-esteem here and how you view yourself, but it is very understandable that who you surround yourself with is really important. And, if you maybe surround yourself with people that are a little bit more negative, then you're more likely to be negative. And so you want people around you that are going to build you up, that are going to really truly see the best in you, so that when you're working on yourself, you're able to start seeing things maybe from their perspective, and maybe you can ask them questions, right? If you have a close friend, then you want to be able to just to ask, like, how do you see me? Like, what do you see? Maybe you see something different than I do. Being able to have that heart-to-heart conversation is really important. Then of course, mentors, right? So if you want to, grow as a person, you have somebody that mentors you, that can really coach you on, seeing things from a different way, or, even a mentor in a business relationship, that kind of thing really can be important. It can really do a lot for your self-esteem. People that are going to build you up, family. This one's a tough one because there's a lot of toxic family, and that can be really challenging to navigate. But having positive family relationships, even if it's your immediate family, can be really important. And actually might be out of this list right here. It might be one of the most important things. You need a solid support system in your family. The people that you see every day are going to be one of those biggest things there. Community groups, really important, being involved in some sense of community, whether that be a church or something else, that can be really helpful. And then The last one, I know that people struggle with that too, is positive workplace experiences. If you're, let's say you're a manager or something and you really want to cultivate better experiences, great. If you just are an employee and you want to be more positive at work, also great. That does influence self-esteem because you know that you're trying to make a difference. So honestly, all of these things are really important. It is a layer of working also on yourself. So lastly, I want to end with one of my favorite authors, Brene. You either walk inside your story and own it, or you stand outside your story and hustle for your worthiness. That's a quote from her, but honestly, it's one of those things where you really have to own your own story. Start from where you know you need to start. Set the smart goals. Set those goals in small, achievable, series, take one step at a time, 3 steps at a time. You're not looking at the mountain, you're looking at 3 steps ahead. So I just want to encourage you, if you're dealing with some stuff and you're just really trying to see yourself in a better perspective, take it one step at a time. Utilize what I've talked about in this video. Really try to get yourself around some positive people that see you in a different way, that you can start to ask some questions and really wrestle with some of those harder things. It really is important. So if you've liked this video, if it was really helpful for you, I want you to click that subscribe button. But let me know what your thoughts are. Comment below. Let me know what your thoughts are about where you've struggled, or maybe some things that really you want to work on. Would love to hear from you. And remember, click that subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next one.